Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Dale DeForest, and I wanted to give you a little background on what Rez Luv is and what it's meant to me and where I hope it's going to go. Right now, this is how it exists in these three comic books that I self-published over, I want to say, since I believe 2014 was the last one that I produced, and it's this one here. Actually, it's 2013. 2013 was the last one, so it has been 6 years. Being a lifelong comic book fan, I figured I should start my own. I should do my own comic book because, you know, it was just, I was young and there was something to do. But I never really could get any traction. I never really could get my own ambition off the ground until, I want to say, back in 2011. I had gone through a big life change, and then the Albuquerque Comic Expo came to town, and that was the fire that got lit under my butt to get this first one out. It's not my favorite by any means, but it's the first one. It was the first effort. It was my first real venture into doing this all on my own. And, you know, I banged out the script. It's not my favorite script, but the point is I got it done. I got it finished just in time for the Albuquerque Comic Expo. And, you know, I did everything with this book out of pocket back in 2011. I paid out to get 300 copies printed just for the Albuquerque Comic Expo, and I think I sold maybe 4. And so to me it was a huge disappointment because it was my first Comic-Con. It was my first real time doing this, and I was really disappointed. But, you know, I didn't give up, because here's number 2. I did this one the following year when Albuquerque Comic Expo came to town again back in 2012. This was the follow-up. I didn't want to, you know, let myself down by giving up, because I felt like I still had this story to tell. And even though it didn't really go anywhere, and I was so proud of it. This is the one I'm very proud of this one. And it was the one that, it was the issue that I really put more work into. I focused on really getting into some of the characters' backstory, and getting into the characters' futures, really. And this one was a lot more fun to do because, again, it was just I had more time to work on this, and I had more resources at my disposal. So, and then plus, you know, when this one was when I was finishing this book up, I found out that my wife was pregnant, and found out my wife was pregnant, found out I was going to be a father. So this one kind of, it's like a bookmark in this part of my life where it was only the things I love that mattered. And so there's a lot of love went into this book. I'm very proud of it, you know, I'm quite proud of it. Plus, it's the one that people respond to the most, because I feel like this cover is was quite striking. It's quite striking, and people were impressed. Although, you know, again, with the story, it didn't really go anywhere because it didn't really resonate with people. I couldn't really explain what this book is about in 3 sentences or less. But anyway, moving on to the third one. This one was the last one, and this one, I'm proud of this one the most, because this one to me has much more story, much more character involved. Because with these two characters especially, it was more about struggle and then, you know, and survival. And so there was a topic explored in the means of again, survival and self-confidence, and, you know, doing the things that you have to do to survive, to keep ahead of yourself. But the artwork, I was quite proud of the artwork in this one, because I felt like I've really come a long way in terms of panel-to-panel storytelling. And even though, again, it's not the best story and it didn't really go anywhere, and with this story, I wrote myself into a corner, and I'm still stuck on that. I'm still stuck on this story. And I'm really sorry to say that if people wanted more of this story, I'm sorry, I apologize, but it's gone. I have no desire to really explore this, and so it's gone, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah. Anyway, like I said, this is the one I'm really proud of the most because I put the most work into this one. So that's that. Anyway, where I want it to go is all the stories that I'd written prior to launching this Kickstarter. I was not proud of. Again, I was on the same track as these stories here, and one story I tried to continue this arc. Another story is I tried to take all these characters and put them in different situations, tell a new story with the same characters, and again, I couldn't feel it. I couldn't. The same emotion for this story wasn't there, or for this effort, it wasn't there. And so I was forced to give up because I felt like I was running out of time. And again, when you're an artist and a creator and a writer or whatever, you find yourself spinning your wheels. It's time for a change. It's time to shake things up, I guess. And that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. And so with the script that I sent Sean to review and to consider, it's completely different. It's completely different. But it's still close to me. It's still close to my heart. It's still close to where both Sean and I grew up. It's all about home. But there's a lot more going on. There's it's got kind of a Mad Max theme to it, because the new Rez Luv is going to be set. It's an alternate universe, and it's a lot more exciting, and it's a lot more there's jokes, there's drama, and there's action. Mostly action. I wanted to have fun with it. I wanted to have some real fun with it. This is a little bit of history on the Rez Luv. It was intended back in 2004 to be my very own version of this, Love and Rockets. In my 20s, I was a huge fan of the Hernandez brothers and the stuff that they put out, because it was kind of like, it was that slice of life genre, and the slice of life books really got to us because it was kind of like, this is how we're growing up. This is how we've become adults. We all have our challenges. We all have our growth. We all have life happening to us. And that's kind of what I wanted this to be, and that's why I called it Rez Luv, is because, it was going to be love on the res, not just like with relationships or romance. It was going to be about, community and growth, and all the things that happened in between, like jokes and drama and action and what have you. But again, the story that I wrote took a real harsh turn, and it became about what this is, tribal college. Because I myself went to a tribal college, and I'm gonna wrap this up because this was only supposed to be a 5-minute video. I apologize. Anyway, again, we are at 26%, and I'm hoping that with this little bit of history here, that someone might get a little bit more interested, and maybe we'll get a bump or something. I don't know. One thing I should probably mention is that after I finished up with issue 3 and gone to the Albuquerque Comic Expo back in 2014, I think it was, I essentially just kind of given up. I didn't really want to finish Rez Luv because, again, even with trying to pass it out, trying to sell it out at the Albuquerque, the final Albuquerque Comic Expo, I'd essentially just kind of given up. People really weren't responding to comic books in general, so I figured, what the hell. And then, about a year or so later, something amazing happened. I'd met a gentleman by the name of Lee Francis. You all know him. We kind of talked about the Indigenous Comic Con, which was happening that following year. And so, talk about something amazing happening. I took all of these copies of Rez Luv to that Comic-Con and sold out completely. And I realized that there is, in fact, an audience for this, and it was just the venue. It was the venue that was wrong. So the Indigenous Comic-Con happened, sold out completely, and I realized people do want to read this. People responded to this favorably, and it was my people. It was people like me. That's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to relaunch this series, reboot it with a twist. And that twist is, excitement, drama, and action. So, Rez Luv, this new Rez Luv is going to have all of that if it gets funded. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen to me. Thanks for, if you're a backer, thank you for that. And if you're not a backer and you shared this, thank you so much. I appreciate every single pair of eyes that this thing gets. And if it doesn't get funded, whatever, right? Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great night. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. And I will hopefully see all of you again soon. Thanks.